Can I tell what?
Like when you go to your house, can you tell if it was like distressed, like a foreclosure?
Can I tell if it was distress or a foreclosure? Yes. There are things in the listing that'll say bank-owned home, so I can see that. When the person listed the house, they'll list it, bank-owned home, and you can get some of the stuff if you dive into it and read like the instructions. Because if the seller said, hey, tell everybody I'm in foreclosure, I don't care, bring me an offer. And they put it in there, hey, I was in foreclosure. So you read that one that closed 2 weeks ago, and you read that, oh, he was in foreclosure, that's not market value. Or you see the one that says bank-owned home, oh, that's not market value. You can actually see one, oh, it changed from Jehoshaphat to Bob Jehoshaphat. Think they're related? Probably not market value. Now that's a little harder when you start getting into Smiths. All right. But yeah, if you search around and play with it, you can find stuff. But the biggest indicator is literally your experience when you start looking. And like I said, you see a house in Center Grove that is 30% below every other house. You can virtually go, dude, something's wrong with that. I don't care what it is. You know, whatever made it sell for that is enough for me to know it's not market value, so I'm going to throw it out without even calling. So that's market value. What's market price? There's that nasty word. Because we don't deal in price, we deal with value. What's market price? Come on. Not what they're asking for, what it actually sells for. So we establish the market value through a CMA and say, hey, look, it's between 154 and 159. When the buyer comes in and you guys get all done negotiating, if everything held up the way it's supposed to, that market price should be somewhere in that range that you created. If you can get market price to equal market value, what's that called? Exactly, Miguel. Now translate that to audible. It's called payday, right? He went cha-ching. Yeah. If I can get the buyer to believe what the seller believes the value and the price are the same thing, that's called a sale. That's what we're trying to do. Get the buyer to believe it's between 154 and 159 and the seller to accept that, and away we go. It's when the falls start falling outside of that range do we start having trouble. When the buyer says it's 140 and the buyer says I'm not taking that. You've got to get them to be equal. So market price is what the property's actual sales price is. What's market cost? Market cost is what it costs to actually create that asset. And cost doesn't equal value, nor does cost equal price a lot of times. For instance, you go in and put $10,000 into your kitchen, you don't get $10,000 in price, nor value, all right? Oh, we're going to put ceramic backsplash and stainless steel tile and one of those really cool faucets that you can just touch and turn on. Really? You just added zero value to your house. There's one of the largest misconceptions that the consumer has. They go, oh, we bought a 3-bedroom house and we rehabbed it. We put new carpet in and repainted it. Now we want to add $20 million to the price tag and resell it. No, you didn't. You didn't change the house. All you did was put lipstick on the pig. All right? If you want to change the value, you got to change something that we use to comp on. Nowhere in the comps do we comp ceramic backsplash. All right? Still a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house. Now, it may be the best looking 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and that's where the money comes in. That's where your benefit comes in. I mean, think about this. If you had $10,000 and there are two cars for sale, and they're both 10 grand, and one is the Ford Probe and the other is the Corvette, same price, which one are you buying? You're buying the Corvette, all right? I asked a buddy of mine, I was thinking about buying a Corvette. I said, hey, Bill Stroud. I said, hey, Bill, what's a gas mileage on a Corvette? He goes, who cares? It's a good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's true. We were in Vegas and we went through the Caesars Mall and we went into one of those where it had all the sculptures, you know, and all those. And I noticed, I said, you notice there's no price tags on those? Because if you have to ask how much that is, you can't afford it. You're going to be the guy that goes, oh, I like that, I'll buy it. There's this big painting, we were in the big painting, it was probably 10 foot tall by 40 foot long, which would fit in my house, in our big room. And my wife and I are looking at it. The lady comes, she goes, oh, can I help you? I'm like, you know, just out of curiosity. She said, $35,000. Thank you very much. It literally was a billboard. We've got our living room's 2-story because the stairs just look over. So we got this really big, huge wall, and we keep saying needs something on there, but it's got to be big, and that equates to expensive. So it's still bare, by the way. Market cost. You want to make your house the best 3-bedroom bath house so they can go, oh, if I'm buying a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for $150, do I want one with vinyl entryway and olive washer and dryer, or do I want the other one that's got the ceramic tile and the stainless steel appliance? Oh, I'll buy that one. So upgrading some of this stuff doesn't change the value, it just makes it the best. You want to change the value? Add a bathroom, finish the basement, add a second story, enclose the garage. Those things now change it to the next level, if you will, of properties. That's what truly adds value. Okay? There are some principles of value. Principles of value. What was I going to tell you? Matter of fact, you know that. You put 10 grand in, how much does your bathroom go up? About 8,000. That's what I call remodeling. You want to be a rehabber? That's a different story. Over on page 313, look at the one way down at the bottom called contribution, where the sum is greater than the parts. That's what a rehabber wants to do. They want to buy a house for 10 grand, add 10 grand, and now it's worth 50. So you want more money than you put into it. And that falls under what they call the principle of contribution. There are some things that can add value. There are some things that detract value. I told you I was a level 1 tax assessor. One of the funniest things in that whole thing to me is when you fill out their tax card, there is a section for above ground pool. There is no section for a positive comment in an above ground pool. It's always a negative value. At no time does an above ground pool ever add value according to the tax assessor. Because there's two cubby holes where you write how much it detracts or how much it adds. The one that says how much does it adds is completely filled in black because there is no addition for an above ground pool. Yes, the best way to increase your value is to add an above ground pool. Yeah.
Kids, you want a pool?
Hey, when they do an evaluation for the taxes, is there like a limit to the amount of land that they consider?
Is there a limit to the amount of land they consider? Yes. If you live, say, a house on a 20-acre farm, they will take your house in 1 acre and then do the farm separately, the other 19 separately. Appraisers do the same thing. You know, they will appraise the house as sitting on 1 acre or maybe half an acre, and the rest they would appraise separately and then add the two together. You would appraise that land as just vacant land or tillable land or hunting land or farmland. So even land has further subdivisions. Is it tillable? Is it hunting land? Is it got wetlands where it's not usable? All of that stuff comes in.
So would that be, would the different
Would there be a reason to sell? Could be. The problem with that is if you're sectioning out the pit from the cherry, it's easy to sell the cherry, you'll never sell the pit. So a lot of times you want to keep it in there so that you can say, look, you can buy the farmhouse, this old nice Victorian farmhouse and all that, and you get the 20 acres. Now of that 20 acres, 7 of it's in the floodplain, but it doesn't really matter. You're going to use it for hunting or four-wheeling and all that. So it depends. Leslie. It depends if you're in floodplain. Once again, no answer. You know, if it's in the wetlands, maybe it's got a wetland protection. Maybe it's not wetlands, but it's wet. Could be in a floodplain. Could be in anything. Just holds water. So. If it's in a floodplain, it would be in, then you'd have to get flood insurance. If the house itself is located in a floodplain, yeah.
But if part of the property, you may or may not.
Sure. If part of the property is, now, yeah, it depends. If it's a housing addition and it's one lot and part of the lot's in, then the house is in a floodplain, the entire house. If you've got a farmland where the back 10 acres are in the floodplain, you could potentially section those 10 acres off so it's a separate parcel. Now that parcel's on a floodplain, but your house may not be, so you don't have to have flood insurance. So there's all kinds of tricks that you can do to that. All right? So let's talk about some basic principles of valuation. Here are 14 different ways that you can take the value of your property and it will increase. All right? The first way, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the audio file here so we can go through all 12 of these in one audio file.